Scenario number 3. And! Dam shouts before both of them run towards the pistol lying on the ground, and is the first one to grab the pistol off of the floor. But before too long, Dam goes up to and grabs the pistol from his hand. Now both of them are struggling, trying to grab the pistol from each other's hands. Dam moves the pistol up, while Ann is still holding onto the pistol. Suddenly, the pistol fires towards the top of the room. As it hits the ceiling, it makes a hole near the light bulb. Dam and are still and looking at the hole. Jesus! And exclaims, while he is still staring at the hole in the ceiling. After a moment, he says, "That was close." Dam grabs the pistol and throws it towards his right. The pistol lands on the wall between the washer and dryer inside the laundry room. Dam quickly grabs and by his shirt and pushes him down on the floor. Dam is kneeling on top of while his face is near Ann's face, and is using his left arm to hold back Dam. "You crazy fuck! You nearly fucking killed us!" Dam shouts, looking angry as hell. "Me? Fuck you, you asshole! You broke my goddamn fingers. That too, for questions that I don't know," and says enraged by Dam's sudden outburst. Dam is grinding his teeth at Ann's words before he shouts, "You fucking rat fucking man! What about you? How you know it was you that got her kill?" And shouts back at Dam. Dam stops grinding his teeth and his mouth is wide open as he stares at Ann. Suddenly, as if something struck him, and says, "Yeah, it's probably Vaquero. He came to my place a while back, looking for you. He seemed very distraught." Dam slowly stands up from Ann's body and walks towards the living room. He stops in his tracks and says, "He was looking for me. He was here, at the house yesterday, and my bar the day before." And then says, "Wait, he was actually here? I was lying to get you off of me." Dam responds, "Yeah." He spotted the car. The police said it was a crazy fan, but instead, it was him. He killed her, and it was my fault. Dam sits down on a chair up against the wall near the edge of the hallway. His head is cast down as he is looking down at the floor, and is still lying on the floor near where Dam is sitting, and is facing Dam's face from his left while he starts sitting up. "Wow, where is he now?" And asks. "The police took him away, but he'll get out soon," Dam responds, looking dejected. "How do you know?" And asks curiously. Dam moves his head to look up at Ann, before responding, "Because he works with certain people who can get him out with anything. We have to leave right away." And looks surprised as he heard his father's words. Without even a second thought, he says, "What do you mean by we? I don't need to leave again. This is your problem, not mine." Dam looks slightly frustrated as he says, "God damn it, he knows who you are. Remember he was spying on us once?" And looks shocked and asks, "He was?" "I didn't know." Dam nods and says, "Well, now you know? That's why we have to leave." "Fuck, how do you know it wasn't someone else who killed her?" Dam shrugs as he says, "If it wasn't him, then he's probably watching us right now." And turns around and looks at the door with a frightened expression on his face. Dam suddenly says, "I gotta call Airdrie to make sure he's all right." Dam pulls out Ann's cell phone and starts typing on the screen, and curiously asks, "Why do you have to call him?" Dam looks up from the screen momentarily before responding, "Vaquero saw Airdrie and he knows what he looks like. When we're gone, he'll go after him next." And shrugs and says, "That's his problem, not ours." Dam angrily says, "Fuck you, he has a family to take care of. Earlier, I wasn't being so truthful to him." And asks, "So you call me dishonest?" Dam looks at Ann's cell phone screen with frustration as he says, "Shit, I don't know his number. I didn't get a chance to look at his number on my new phone." And simply says, "You don't know his number? Try the operator." Dam thinks before saying, "All right. Shit. I don't know his last name either." "You don't know his last name either? God, you're useless. And is that my phone?" And asks as he stares at his phone in Dam's hand. Dam spares a glance at, and, while he's busy looking at his cell phone, Dam sheepishly responds, "Ah, yeah." and looks a little disgruntled before he asks, "Well, what about Noah?" "What about her?" Dam asks while he's still staring at the cell phone screen. "How did you know that he was spying on you or me? He could be spying on me in the walk-in when I was getting stitches for my forehead 2 days ago, where I met Noah and was being rude to her," and asks, thinking hard about all the possibilities. "That was you?" Dam asks incredulously. He moves his head up and looks at and in his eyes. "Well, yeah, and I think your friend knew too," and shrugs as he responds. Dam looks at him and responds, "Well, he did seem suspicious about you and did say that your penis was exposed in the car, but I told him that it's what you do when you snooze." "No, I don't," and says defensively. "You used to do it when you were a kid," Dam clarifies. "Yeah, when I was a kid. I don't do it now, when I'm a fucking adult," and says, looking irritated. "There was that one time I came to your apartment and you were nude," Dam says, but he was soon interrupted by And. "Okay, my point is that you and me were with Noah. He could be spying on her as we speak," And says, making a valid point. Dam is sitting quietly in his chair. Suddenly he says, "Shit." Her number is in my phone, and says knowingly. Dam looks madly at, and for a moment. Then he looks back at the screen as his right finger presses the middle of the screen and the phone starts to dial. Dam puts the phone near his right ear. Dam is waiting for the phone to be answered. After a while, Dam says, "I'm getting no answer," and nods and says, "Yeah, she's a bit angry at me." "Do you know where she lives?" Dam asks, and shakes his head before saying, "Nope." "Do you know anything about her?" Dam asks again. "Not a goddamn thing," and responds. "Well, fuck," Dam says as he starts scratching his head with his right hand. Then he says, "I need time to think. I'll be in my room." Dam stands up from his chair, tunes around to look at and says, "Here's your phone." Dam throws the cell phone to and sees the phone coming towards him and holds out his left hand to catch it, and screams when the cell phone lands in his hand, and is still screaming when the phone is in Anne's left hand. However, before he can secure it in his palm, it falls down to the ground and makes a thud sound. Dam hisses a little and says, "Sorry." Dam turns around and walks in the hallway. When he makes it to the door, he closes it behind him. Dam is standing behind the door for a moment, and he sighs. Then, Dam walks to the left side of the bed and sits on the edge of the bed. His hand goes inside his pants pocket and pulls out things and throws them on the nightstand. Most of the things land on the nightstand. Dam is sitting on the bed for a while. Suddenly, he looks at the things on the nightstand and notices something. A small ripped paper is near the old telephone. "Oh, fuck right," Dam says as his left hand picks up the small paper off the nightstand. His left thumb is at the bottom edge in the middle of the paper. Also, his index finger is at the back to make it hold up and straighten, while his right hand removes the phone handset from the hook switch. He hangs the handset on his right shoulder, while the back of his right face's cheek is holding on to the phone handset. Dam's right index finger is dialing the numbers on the dial keypad. The telephone starts dialing. Dam throws the small paper away. His right hand is holding the phone handle to his right ear, and he waits. Dam's face looks sheepish, while his eyes are looking down at the bottom right. The phone is still ringing. Sweat lines slowly appear from above Dam's forehead. The sweat lines are going down on both of Dam's eyes, smearing down at the right side of the nose and left side of the cheek. The sweat line from the left cheek is dripping off from his chin and jawline. The phone is still dialing. Dam starts to become scared and closes his eyes when his left hand is wiping off the sweat from his face. Noah finally answers the phone as her static voice reaches Dam's ear. "Dam?" "Hi, how are you?" Dam opens his eyes and smiles, and is lying on the two-seated couch. He is holding the cell phone up towards his face with his left hand. On the cell phone screen, it shows Boiler's recent texts message and looks a little nervous. Scared? Boiler is standing behind Anne's head, and he has a smile on his face. He then says, "You're probably wondering why you're seeing me again, but I hear footsteps coming from the hallway. It could be your father or an uninvited intruder coming in soon. But don't worry about me. There's still time to explain about this. And Boiler sees Dam coming out of the hallway and suddenly asks, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to Noah," Dam responds. "How?" and asks, looking perplexed. "I still got her number in my pocket," Dam says as he opens the front door and leaves, and stands up from the couch and walks towards the door. Boiler is still standing and smiling. Then he starts to sit and lay on the two-seated couch. Dam is outside walking in the front yard, towards the driver's side door that's near him, and is walking down on the cement step and catches up to Dam's back. "Let me come along then," and requests. "Fine," Dam responds, "so I can talk for you," and says, "What?" Dam stops and asks. Then he turns around and looks at and on his right side before saying, "Fuck off." Dam keeps walking towards the vehicle, while Ann is still following Dam's back. Dam explains, "I'm not going there to pose a good impression. I'm going there to keep her safe. She said that she didn't see anything but saw some fans on her street. She's all right, but I got to make sure. After that, I'll go back to work to see if they have Airdrie's number or address. Or just call work as well." "You sure about that?" Ann asks. "What's it to you?" Dam asks, looking slightly irritated. "She trusts me more than you," and simply responds. Dam stops again and quickly turns around to look at and straighten the eyes. He then says, "She told me about you at the restaurant. How you looked, worried, frozen, and startled. He got you there and—" Boiler suddenly speaks up. Boiler is standing at the cement step and he continues, "Say something too. Make yourself more superior than him. And also she told me how you owe money to Boiler." Dam pulls the last string. "You want me to tell Noah that someone you knew died tonight because of you?" And stops him as he says. Dam's face starts morphing into a frown, while Ann is smiling at him, and then says, "She'll be out of your sight, like Mom and Crystal." "Way to go, and way to threaten," Boiler says from the side where he is standing. Dam gives a half smile too, and as he says, "How about you call her instead? She blocked my number, remember?" And asks in a tone that portrays that he's stating the obvious. Dam shrugs and offers, "You can use my phone. It's in my bedroom. I'll wait for you out here, so we can both leave together. You promise to wait for me?" And asks. Dam nods and says, "I promise." "You fucking better," and says, as he walks back inside the house. Dam is standing at the front yard for a moment. Suddenly, he rushes to the driver's side door. Dam opens the vehicle door and sits down before closing the door after him. He suddenly looks really happy. "Ha ha, sucker!" Dam says, as his right hand goes to his jacket's right side pocket and pulls out the car keys. He puts the key in the ignition and starts it up. However, the vehicle is stalling. Dam stops smiling and looks down at the ignition as he says, "Fuck, come on." Dam tries to start the vehicle again, but the vehicle is still stalling. Meanwhile, Ann is walking inside Dam's bedroom. When he's about to reach the old telephone, he trips on something and falls, and exclaims due to pain, "Shit!" and lands at the floor on his front body. Due to the fall, a loud thud noise is made as soon as Ann's body hit the ground, and looks at the bottom of his 2 feet and says to himself, "What the fuck did I trip on?" and sees a sharp tire iron sticking out from under the mattress between the holder, and stares at it with confusion as he says, "Huh?" and stands up from the floor and grabs the tire iron from under the mattress. He then speaks out to himself, "Strange of you to be here," and turns around and puts the tire iron on the bed. At the front yard, Dam is still trying to start the vehicle. However, the vehicle is still stalling. Dam exclaims in frustration, "Come on, you fucking piece of shit car. Why do you have to do this at the wrong time?" Ann's left index finger is dialing the numbers on the old telephone dial keypad. The phone handset is lying on the left side of the telephone. The telephone is dialing, while Ann puts up the phone handset and holds it near his left ear. Suddenly, Noah answers the phone and says, "Damn, thank God you called again." You should go find Airdrie first. I'll be all right. But if you can't find him, I'll help you look for him. Hey, it's me. Look, I gotta talk. And starts saying. However, before he has a chance to say anything else, the call hangs up and has a blank face while he's still holding the phone handset. Then he looks down, then up, then down again. Finally, he hangs up the phone and says to himself, "That went well." And puts the phone handset back to the hook switch, he notices a piece of paper near the left side of the phone. He picks it up and looks at it and starts to smile a little. Finally, he turns around and grabs the tire iron and walks out of the room. And walks out the front door and is now walking down on the cement step and going through the front yard. He sees Dam starting up the vehicle. "Hey, can I have this?" And asks as he shows the tire iron to the driver's wing mirror. The vehicle engine starts and slowly drives off the driveway. A song starts to play. The song's called "C'est plein pour moi" by Plastic Bertrand, and stares at the vehicle leaving as he shouts, "Hey! What the fuck?" and rushes to Dam's vehicle. Dam's vehicle is driving off from the driveway and slowly makes a right turn, and is behind the vehicle when it makes a right turn. His left hand throws the sharp tire iron at the vehicle and hurts his fingers a little when in the attempt to stop Dam. "Ow, fuck!" and exclaims in pain. The tire iron flattens the back right tire. Dam's vehicle slowly stops. Suddenly, the driver's side window starts to roll down. Dam pops his head out to look behind his vehicle and shouts, "What the fuck, and quickly runs towards the driver's side window and says, "I'll race you to Noah's place. Oh, make sure not to write addresses on paper. It's an old-fashioned way," and crumples up the paper and throws it at Dam's face. Dam catches the paper when it nearly hits his upper nose and is running in the middle of the road as he shouts, "I'll tell Noah more fucked up shit that you did." Dam opens the driver's side door and gets out. When Dam is getting out of the vehicle, Peterson is running towards Dam's back as he shouts, "Dam!" Peterson is standing behind Dam's back and says, "Dam, what's going on? I heard shouting in your house. I thought it was nothing because I heard it before. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang earlier. I was going to call the police, but I didn't hear any more of it. But then, I saw your son shouting and running and you in the middle of the road. Is everything all right?" Dam turns his head to the right to look at Peterson before asking, "I'm fine. Can I use your vehicle?" "Fuck you, no," Peterson says. Peterson starts frowning at Dam's back. Dam turns around and looks at Peterson for a while. Then Peterson starts to look scared. Meanwhile, and is running in the middle of the road on a bridge towards the city, looking very tired and happy. "Noah!" and says, then stops as he pants, and starts saying again, while panting in between, "Here I come. I'll show you. My father is still a piece of shit." Boiler is sitting on railings on Anne's right as he says, "Aha." Lights appear behind Anne's back. Boiler is 10 feet in front of Anne. A smart, dark blue Fort Woo car comes behind Anne and honk his horn, "Beep, beep," and waves his left hand to the left side without looking at the vehicle while still running. The Fort Woo vehicle goes around Anne's left and drives off. Boiler looks at the driver in the Fort Who vehicle, as Anne asks, still panting, "Who was that?" and stops and puts his head down while putting his left hand on his left upper leg, and is quickly rest as Boiler answers his question rhetorically, "Who do you think?" Boiler is on Anne's left side, and quickly looks up and realizes, "Oh shit!" and starts running again, while Boiler is still standing and looking at Anne's back, as he says, "Go get him! Fuckhead!" On the bridge, the Fort Woo vehicle is still driving, while Anne is running after it. In the city, there is an early morning blue sky, ready for another day.